now we're going to add in escalation. So in this case, what we decided to do is escalate conversations that need a human's interaction through another assistant. And so I've built this already, this escalation assistant, which you can look at when you install the template. Not more people in the waiting room. Sorry, that got slightly sidetracked. So the reason that we're using a separate, there's a live chat tool, and you can just throw the live chat tool in your main assistant, and then if someone asks to talk to an agent, it will use the live chat tool, it will go straight to live chat. But in this case, I wanted to show that sometimes you want a more complicated, process, more full-featured process behind, for instance, transferring someone to a support channel. And so one thing that you'll find is you're using tools with these assistants is the assistants really like to call their tools. So when I was building this example and working with some other customers that are using this early, it was pretty hard to get the assistant to stop and ask questions before sending to the live chat tool, because it was just so eager to do that. So one way to solve that is to create another assistant that up front has a process before going to the live chat tool, and then send the conversation to that assistant. The other reason for this is that in this example, we wanted to offer people the option to go to a ticket or to live chat in case they didn't feel like doing a live chat and they just wanted a more, email centric approach to support. And so if you install the sample, you can go through this. This one's actually pretty, it's pretty sophisticated, and it has a number of different steps and demonstrates some best practices for a more workflow driven assistant. I'll just quickly sort of show you how this is designed here. We have various different processes, and each process has a set of simple steps that relate very specifically to that process. And then as far as if you need it to branch to do one thing in one situation, another thing in another situation, those are each described as a different process. And we just tell the assistant to go to which process it needs to under which conditions. So this is way too much to go over in detail in this particular training, but I will show you how it works. So, and we'll integrate it into our customer service assistant. All right, so the first thing we'll do is just add an assistant tool. I will call it transfer to support. And we need to give it a good description. Again, this isn't just assistant transfer to support. These names and descriptions, it's really important to remember that these are not just to help you organize your tools. These are what is used by the assistant to decide when and how to call them. So we're telling it to use this to escalate to the support team. And we're also telling it that it can escalate to the support team because the user specifically asked to talk to a human, or because they're getting frustrated or not getting an answer to their problem. So the assistant will use some autonomy to determine when it should do that. All right. And we're going to add an input parameter. So the input parameters are what data is going to be sent to the assistant. In this case, we're just going to say reason for transfer. And we're going to just be text. Oops, I used the wrong naming convention. Reason for transfer. And for the description, we're going to say, please provide a complete description of the reason the user needs support. We'll make that required. So now whenever this tool gets called, that will get filled in by the AI. Okay, the assistant is going to be our escalation assistant. We're going to use GPT-4 for this one too. And in this case, there's two different things that can happen when an assistant is called as a tool. It can either wait for the response. So you might have an assistant whose job is to collect like email and phone number, but that's all it does. And then this assistant takes back over and uses that information to move forward. In this case, though, once someone goes to support, we're really transferring them. So just like if you had an operator or answer your phone and they were to ask a few questions and then transfer them to another person to finish the conversation, that's what this is analogous to. All right, so we've done that, and then we're also going to add another rule to our instructions here to relate to this. So we're going to say if the user gets frustrated, ask for a human, then transfer them to the support tool. So that's all we're going to do there. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to demonstrate the user getting frustrated with the conversation. You can do that if you decide to play with the template. I'm just going to go ahead and ask to be transferred. Actually, let me do it a different way. So my bot isn't working. All right, provide some troubleshooting steps here, probably from the knowledge base. None of that is working. All right, so so now it is this. You can't tell, but it's transferred to the escalation assistant because it's asking me for my email address. So none of this is in the current customer service assistant. It's all in the escalation assistant. So the handoff did happen. And I might not go through this whole process right now. So, all right, a support ticket is created. And that's because I already provided the reason. So that shows the sub assistant. All right, moving right along.